All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a new trade recap. Again, I ended up taking two trades today. Well, essentially one. The second trade was just a scalp, just so I can get to the profit target. But yeah, coming into today here, we're gonna go over my entire bias and what I was looking for. So, coming into today here, we were very bullish. The reason being is because we closed above these highs and validated this order block on the daily. So once we close above an order block, I want to see us trade into the order block usually. So what did price end up doing? I grabbed the low to the high. We came to this 4-hour range. We swept the low during London. And I was a little confused at first, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if you guys were confused as well this morning, but when data lows got so close to London, it made me think two things. Either London is a protected low, or that is just an engineer of liquidity to get relative equal lows into target at 9:30 open. That's what I thought. So I was like, all right, like let's see what happens. And plus, what kind of threw me off was the seek and destroy kind of looking day where Asia high and Asia low got taken during London. And then London, we took out London high, but we didn't take out London low. And there was no SMT at the lows here with London. So it kind of confused me a bit. So like coming into the day here, I told myself, all right, like what is the only bullish PD rate, or sorry, bearish PD rate that can hold this and send this lower? So we had this SIBI here. Price had this SIBI. And I was looking at this closely because I was like, all right, like I want to see how we react here. And at first, I was like, yo, I'm bullish on the day. But then I was like, what would have made me truly bullish if we close above these highs, right? Because this is all low resistance here. So I don't need to close just above this high here. This is a breaker. No, because that was just to deliver to this high, to this high, to this high. So once I get a displacement through these highs, then I know I am bullish. So I was like, all right, I want to see, I'm a little bit more bearish, but I want to see structure inside of here, how 9:30 opens. So I was looking at this at first, and at first we had this SMT at the highs right here. We had this bearish SMT right here. Boom, and then 9:30 opens, we swept higher. Again, we open lower first, tapping into this 30-minute, but then we go higher, and at first we had this SMT. So I was okay, like I don't mind actually shorting this because although we are bullish on the higher time frame, the daily profile of the day might seek to go price lower. So again, in theory, like in theory right here, I should wait for this low to break through and then I'll have confirmation. But again, when we're in this hourly and we have a bearish SMT, double SMT at 9:30 open high, and then the first value up that gets put in at 9:30 and then we inverse, I would think we're bearish, right? The first value that gets open at 9:30, I would think we're bearish. So again, and we failed to close above. So I was like, all right, like if we fail to close above this high and we sweep again, this will be a false breakout, right? So these are buyers and they're gonna go for longs, right? If we're bearish. So price comes in here, we mitigate 9:30 open, and we immediately wick. And then I'm like, oh, okay, we are most likely bullish then. Once we wicked and then took the high, I was like, yo, like I am not comfortable with shorting at all. Like now I need to see a close below this low. And what confirmed it for me was a close above the high. So once we got over here, we still didn't close yet, but once we closed above here, then I was like, okay, perfect. This is even better. Now we close above this high, making this a protected low. That's immediately what went on through my head. Why? Again, and you guys are probably saying, wait, but the hourly didn't inverse. I don't care about the hourly not inversing. You know why? Because I have fell for this so many times. And that's actually many times why I've actually lost my funded or taking unnecessary losses when we don't get a sweep and a close back in the range. We have these breaks and then price comes back around and offers me my rules, and then I take the short or a long and I lose. And I have a perfect example of this because I journaled this over here. Where is it? Boom. We close above the high, but again, we still have a 4-hour holding. There's 2 4 hours. We had this 4 hour still holding right here. And I was like, all right, like we have SMT at the highs. We had a pair of equal lows, guys. We had a pair of equal lows. We tap it into the 4 hour. I short, boom. But what did 9:30 do? 9:30 opened higher at first. That could have been the short, but there was no inversion to the downside for shorts. And it was equal lows. And then price what? Tapped into what? There was a 5-minute BISI, I believe. Take a picture of this. So I ended up taking this short, actually. It went break even here, and then price tapped into this 5-minute BISI, and then we went higher. So 930 open higher, put in that bearish SMT, 1 minute inversion, break even, we should flush to the equal lows. But what did price do? Tap into the 5 minute, and then we went higher and closed above, giving me what? A bullish breaker. So I could not be bearish anymore, right? Maybe in this point I could be bearish because we sweep the high. If we inverse this 4 minute, maybe, you know, that's a double manipulation within the range. But once we closing above, I can't be bearish. I have to be bullish, right? So that's what the market did. Where's the 5 minute here? Damn, I'm looking for the 5 minute. All right, so right here we have a low, high. So right here, this is a low, high, lower low, higher high. Close above, that's your bullish breaker. So why would I short to these equal lows? When we're bullish, price doesn't have to retrace. Again, in this occasion, when we have the SMT tapping into the 4-hour equal lows, should it? Yes, it would be nice, but it doesn't have to. You know what I mean? So that's what I learned, and I'm like, yo, like, from now on, if I'm bullish, I'm just gonna wait for price to come to my bullish range. That's it. Even if we have equal lows, it doesn't matter. So this was my A+ setup. My A+ setup, my A+ model. We had equilibrium. We had a 4-hour, right? So we had a clean range. We had a 4-hour SIBI. We had SMT, a sweep of liquidity, highest time conversion, and equal lows, and time was aligned with price. And it didn't work. And the highest time frame conversion, 2 equal lows. I was like, yeah, like this is my A+ model. And the fact that it didn't work, why? So I asked myself why, and I journaled this. And then every single time I looked at a trade to why I lost, it was because there was a bullish breaker against me or a bearish breaker against me on a 5 minute. So I was like, yeah, I'm not, from now on, unless the breaker literally makes no fucking sense, and like there's a super strong drawn liquidity, we would have to at least inverse the range of the breaker, right? So that's why I'm like, yo, like this sucks. So I was journaling, and I got better and better. And coming into the day, I was like, so this hourly, it didn't matter coming into the day. I was like, I don't care if we inverse, if we don't inverse, because I am bullish now. So 10 a.m. open, again, what do you know? We did not inverse the hourly, but on the bullish, again, our order flow on the lower time frame was aligning with the order flow of the higher time frame. So I was like, I'm not gonna try to catch this pattern trade. It doesn't make sense. In order for me to be bearish, I need to close below through this low and displacement lower, and then I look for my range. And if the market wants to just displace lower and deliver to TP, okay, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much. I'm right on the draw. I was right on everything. But I'm not going to go here and try to enter this trade to top tick. I'm not going to do that. It doesn't benefit you anymore. It doesn't benefit me anymore. I'm so tired of doing the same mistake over and over and over and not getting anywhere. I just got so tired of it. So I told myself from now on, if that's the case, I'm not taking the trade. So we have the 930 low to the high, close above the high. You have your 930 range. From the low to the high, we see this 15-minute gap. Price swept this 15-minute low. What did we do? 10 a.m. is essentially opening lower. So we open higher first. If this would have inverse, I would have not taken because it's an open high. I need to see, again, a sweep of this low into this 15-minute gap. Once we tapped into this gap, 1 minute inversion, I went break even at the internal. TP1 was the 4-hour unfilled. And then, of course, we had equal highs and low resistance there. And then, boom. We ended up trailing here. We took 90% of our contracts. We had one M&Q left. We hard trailed and then got stopped on the hard trail. And then I only needed 130 bucks for profit target, and then to pass my eval. So I turtle soup the equal highs to this 5 minute unfilled. And again, the reason why I also took this is if you look at it, the 5 minute, are we getting big displacement through? No, we're not getting big displacement through these highs. It's very slow displacement. So a mech could work here. And what are we trading to? This 5 minute unfilled. There's your mech, right? Told you guys, as long as we're not displacing through these highs like fast like this here, big displacement through, we're like, we close above, but then wick, like that's consolidation. So we swept the highs here, and I was like, yo, like I want to see this rebalance. I took a 5-second inversion. I know I don't trade on the lower time frame, but again, I only need 130 bucks. I was risking 90 bucks, and there you go. So we ended up hitting TP here, which was a great feeling, very nice feeling here. But yeah. We ended up passing the funded, and we did a great job. Honestly, if I would have just held the mini and break even and just left it, it would have hit as well. But I hard trailed for it, and then. But either way, yeah, we ended up hitting, we ended up winning today, and we did a great job. So I'm very proud of that, very happy. Yeah, there's really nothing much else I can really say. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comment section. Oh wait, actually no, hold on. One more thing. Um, I don't ever really show this, but I'm gonna show it just due to the fact that I want to show you guys that what I've been showing. I want to show you guys how much I've improved in my trading journey just by journaling and taking it so serious and applying context to every trade. So again, the only reason I've been doing trade recaps is to hold myself accountable and to show you guys the process of literally me getting after every single day, being process focused and not caring, and literally telling myself, yo, this is what I need to see every single time I trade, and that's it. And again, I was not perfect during this funded. I made a few mistakes. Actually, I made 1, 2, 3. Like, I made a few mistakes, but due to when I would see a good trade, my wins would always overtake my losses by so much more. So I want to show you guys that. Let me just kind of put a. Let me take a screenshot of this to show you guys. So boom, showing you guys this. If you guys take a look here, bro, like I didn't trade Monday or Tuesday. We took a trade Wednesday. Again, we made a few mistakes on Wednesday. We took 2 trades. One was a loss, one was a win. We took 2 trades on Thursday. One was a loss and the other one was a win. Same thing on Monday. On Monday, we actually took 5 trades, actually. I remember. And guess what? I journal every single one here. 9th. So if we look at Monday here, we went over everything. First trade 930 open lower, put in a bullish type, nice range, higher time frame inversion. Where I went wrong was 2 things. One, break even got taken, and although I don't think it's important since John Liquor was so clear, but we didn't tap into a higher time frame Peter Ray is where I went wrong. If the low was already taken inside of the 30-minute, I think it would have been fine, but still. Loss. Second trade, we had a nice range tap to discount SMT with higher time frame 5-minute inversion. I did enter a little prematurely due to price being so clear, so also I didn't go break even once my equal highs got taken because I felt like my fill was at a spot where I could have gone break even. So I held the trade, but then the 10-minute inverse to the 5-minute BISI. Again, just super in depth, right? In depth. So now if we go to the picture here, I literally go over, where's the first trade? Boom. We didn't tap. We had SMT, but we never tapped the higher time from Peter Ray. There's a 1-minute inversion. I wanted the equal highs and higher and lost, right? Boom. Mistake, right? Not perfect. But then what? Price ended up coming here. There was a 5-minute inversion. It didn't inverse, but again, when you got this displacement, I was confident enough. We tap in here. Again, break even, and I felt like my stop loss could have gone break even, so I waited. 10 a.m. open. We inversed the 5-minute inversion, but then 10 a.m. open higher into the 5-minute inversion. I was like, bro, like, I do not want to be part of this, so I manually closed that break even, and then, boom, I ended up losing. This ended up being a break even trade. And then price ended up sweeping the high internal market maker buy model. Internal market maker buy model finished the daily profile. So I wanted to look for a mechanical trade. I shorted. I went break even, stopped at break even. Price delivered, unfortunately, right? And then we ended up taking another trade again, just every single day. So then you look at this. I didn't trade on Tuesday. I didn't trade on Tuesday. Boom. Again, nothing clear. Wednesday we took a trade, and again on Tuesday we had the close above, and look, there was a 2-minute inversion to the downside. I'm gonna show you guys this actually. So Wednesday, Tuesday. Look at this. I want to show you guys this. Although we have the range, guys, bro, like I'm telling you, ever since I noticed this, I've saved myself so much. So we swept the high, we have the range, and look at this. 930. Let me move this. 930 opens lower initially. Well, first I remember this. We put in the SMT, and I was looking for a 1-minute inversion to the downside here. We didn't get it. We go lower, and then there was a 1-minute inversion to the upside. Why didn't I take? Because I'm bearish on the higher time frame, so it doesn't make sense. I'm not gonna take. And I'm not gonna take longs when I'm bearish on the higher time frame. Plus, this could be seen as a protected high, so I'm not gonna take. Then what did price end up doing? 930, and then we close above on the 5. Doing what? Validating a 5-minute bullish breaker. 930 essentially open higher, but then we open lower. And what are we tapping into lower? Into this 15-minute BPR. in a discount of this dealing range. So there's a reason for this 5-minute close above. So I know we're not closing above from the 15-minute, but I don't care. I don't want to see no close above. I don't care about if it's like a small ass displacing close where, let's just say these wicks were a little bit more, like something like this. It was like this, then this is not bad. This is whatever. This is like a barely any real close. You know what I mean? If it's something like this, it's like, okay, like this is a barely close. We're sweeping the high. Like that's not a bullish breaker. Again, I need more displacement, but that was not the case. We actually closed above, right? So now this is a bullish breaker. So I'm like, all right, like if I'm bearish, I want to see this 15-minute inverse and close below. And we get it again, and essentially, if we get it close below, we wouldn't even get an entry here. So we would most likely get a displacement through all these lows, and then a range, and then a continuation. But I didn't care because, and there was a 2-minute that got offered here, but I did not care about this because this is context, bro. Like I need shit to be clear every single time. I need every single trade to align perfectly every time, and I'm not looking for a top tick or a what if trade anymore. I'm looking for I'm not looking for probability, like, oh, this might deliver. I know the whole market is based off probability, but I'm talking about in the sense of like, oh, I can see this shit potentially delivering. No, it's like I'm looking for precision. I'm looking for price to tell me, yo, I'm ready to deliver it with clarity. So I want to be precise with every trade, and then if I lose, it doesn't matter because I was precise. So it's like the market's just uncertainty that's the market's uncertainty and probability, and I'm okay with that because I perform to my full potential. So 2-minute inverse, I didn't take this, and again I was just waiting for a close below. That's all I was doing, and price just kept doing its own thing. I didn't care about anything, and then full flush to the equal lows down here, and then yeah, so no trade on Tuesday. Okay, no trade on Tuesday, and then Wednesday was yesterday. I went over that. We ended up hitting TP1. Again, it says 8 trades, but I scaled into my position, and then partials, boom, and then today I ended up taking 2 trades, and then boom, pass, right? So there you go. I just want to show you guys if you say process focus and add context to every single trade and literally just be disciplined, walk away. Even if you make a mistake, understand that, yo, you made a mistake. It's not that big of a deal. And I'm going to make a more in-depth video talking about like mistakes and not being so hard on yourself and trusting yourself, having that, like, knowing yourself deeply and understanding that, yo, like, you could do this. It's just you need to stop that negative talk. You need to start being more process focused oriented and literally just being real with yourself and just taking clear trades. A daily profile, once a daily profile is done, are you in a side of a range? Then take a mechanical trade. If not, you're done for the day. Or if you're gonna look you're gonna look for something in the PM session, look for an internal market maker buy model, something like looks like this. So it's like you have like low resistance, and then we're like tapping into something, and then in the PM you have something like this. So in the PM session, we like inversing these gaps. We have a 5-minute bullish breaker, and you can tell like the draw is clearly these highs. At that point, you wait for a range and go higher. It's always add context. The markets want to deliver perfectly, but because of news, because of hedge funds, and because of people's uncertainty, it delivers weird sometimes. And the market doesn't like uncertainty, and that's why it prints weirdly sometimes. So it tries to print the uncertainty. Sometimes when the market's moving sideways, a lot of us are like, oh, we're engineering liquidity. Yeah, we're engineering liquidity. Yes, it's sideways. Yes. But it's the market's way of showing us that there's a lot of uncertainty. So, and it's trying to print that uncertainty, and it's clearly not clear. So instead of trying to understand it, accept it. Accept that it's uncertain. Accept that there's nothing. Accept that today is not gonna be a day where you improve P&L wise, but you're gonna improve mentally. And once you start with acceptance, and once you start with realizing, yo, like, I am doing this in a process focused manner, and I know for a fact, bro, I've seen so many trades. If I would have just sat on my hands, bro, and not taken a dumbass trade and waited for this clear trade, I would be up on the day. But now I'm fucking down and my account's blown. You know what I mean? I have so many of those days, bro. Like, you guys don't even understand. Like, it hurts so much. But it gets to a point where you're like, if nothing changes, bro, literally nothing will ever change. So you have to literally surrender and wait for the market to tell you, yo, I'm ready. There's uncertainty, and don't take anything. So again, those are the three things you want to trade, and then yeah. So again, so now going back to the picture. Oh wait, I went over everything, and then today I ended up taking that trade. So yeah. Um, Again, I ended up taking this trade. Very clean, very A plus. So we're done for the week. We're gonna enjoy our weekend. We're gonna go back to work Friday, Saturday, all day. Gonna be super just focused going into next week and just being process focused with every trade. I'm gonna wait for clarity, wait for everything to be screaming at me, and if it's not, I just won't take anything. Simple as that. So, um, with that being said, I'm gonna keep up these trade recaps, and yeah, we're funded again, and we did it the right way. I'm so grateful, and we're just gonna keep running it, bro. That's it. Other than that, if you guys have any questions, leave a comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.